So if you guys remember, I did a couple of the studioRSR cages in my E90 and also in my E92, because one of the reasons that I want to have a cage is to have the GoPro have a better place to go when I film my videos, but also I love the look of it, and also this will be much more of, like I said, a function build. The last two cars were just for fun. This is actually purpose built. So I'm going to show you guys some cool cars here, and also there's an engine here I want to show you as well. It's a stroker engine. What do you think about the cage in this car? Is it something that I need right away, or should I wait longer until I become a better driver?
It's a good question, because like we were saying during the podcast, there's a lot of drivers, first-time owners who want to mod their car like crazy, right? And then they're out there to track their car, and then they buy stuff because it's like, oh, this will make me faster, this will make me faster, but their driving skill doesn't match the level of capabilities of the car in stock form.
I did that. I'm fully guilty of that. Like, I built my car completely.
Wait, with this car?
No, with the E92.
Oh, okay.
I did the E88s and suspension and cage, but I went to the track and I ran like a 218 for my first time.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to build this more purpose built. But do you think it's too early to get a cage? Like, when would be the right time to put a roll cage in a car?
Yeah. So a cage would be something that doesn't really affect, you know, it adds chassis rigidity, but at the same time, it's not really going to make that much of a difference while you're learning. It'll actually help you feel the chassis and the suspension better, because it's acting as a, you know, it's stiffer chassis, so the suspension's still going to do those changes in the little feel.
You'll feel it more.
Exactly.
Okay. I really enjoy having a cage in my car for the look. But when it comes to purpose-built cars, like you make cages for everything, right?
Yeah, we have like over 80 applications.
Wow.
We added like half of that in the last 2 years.
Jeez, and you've expanded just a little bit compared to what you were.
Yeah, thankfully, you know, thanks to you guys out there and yourself.
Of course, man.
You know?
All the cars over here, can you show us some of those cars?
Yeah.
Those are your projects, right?
Some of them, and then some of them are customers' projects. But yeah, we're really stoked on this new space, so we'll be doing a new exotic car storage that we'll be offering to our customers, because, you know, a lot of us, especially here in LA, and people don't have as big of a driveway for the toys that they want to have. Some of the guys are like, hey, can I keep my car there for a little bit and stuff like that? So we're like, oh, well, we need more space as well. Yeah. So we figured it was a good idea.
And you're doing a lot of Supras. That's like a big chassis you're doing right now.
Yeah, we love the Supra.
Yeah.
4 of us here who work here have Supras.
It makes sense then.
This first one that we keep here in the first spot is Daniel Song's Veris Supreme wide body. It's actually the first one in the US besides Veris' own car in Japan. You guys have probably seen a lot of videos, posts about this car. It was in the Toyo Tread Pass, the virtual Tread Pass last year, because obviously there wasn't a real in-person SEMA, so Toyo did their own virtual Tread Pass.
I noticed this too with the headlight intake. I was like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, everyone talks about that thing. Sergio actually has it on his car too, and he posted yesterday, because it was raining yesterday. He was like, let's see how this holds up in the rain.
Oh yeah, I was thinking just driving at night. I'm like, you can't really do it unless you get a ticket.
Yeah.
But it's functional, which I get.
Yeah.
And then this M4, I've seen this a lot for the last couple of years. What's this car all about?
This is Ian's M4. So he was one of the first to have an M4 when it first came out, and it's got so many development products. Like, he was the first M4 that APR used to develop all the APR aero. CSF used this car, VF Engineering, ourselves. This car and Ian hold a special place in my heart because this is the first car that had a studioRSR cage.
First one?
Yeah.
Wow.
So without this car and without Ian, you know, we probably wouldn't be where we're at today.
So it has a special place for sure for you.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I like hearing stories like that.
Luckily, it's always here, as much as Ian doesn't want it here right now because he's trying to sell it. He just got a Porsche, so he's trying to build that one up. So it is for sale. Whoever gets it's getting a crazy deal, because there's probably close to 100 grand in mods in the car.
Wow.
And he's asking like around 50 grand for everything.
That's a lot of car for the money.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you got to see this. So my favorite part about Ian's car, obviously we took the cage out already, but is the shifter.
Oh, wow.
So this is the first F8M that had the CAE shifter that we did back at the old shop.
That's a really good shifter.
Yeah.
That's super notchy.
I think it's really intimidating, but it's a lot easier than a stock shifter, you know?
The throw is very short.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then getting into reverse super easy.
So with this Supra, this is yours, right?
Correct.
You took this one over to Button Willow, and you what's your personal best right now there?
We got it this last weekend. It was 154.5.
And what's the setup on this?
Everything's pretty much stock. Handling wise, it's only springs, and then a SPL bump steer correction kit, which made a huge difference.
And this is set up for a certain class that you race in, correct?
Correct. So the way Beamer Challenge does their rulebook, the car that you're going to use has a certain amount of base points, and then the mods all have different points, and then each each class has a limitation of how many points you can have.
So the next step would be suspension for this to be in the next class?
So the Super starts out already at high point, base point, so I can't do anything. Right now, as much as I want to do a little bit more stuff to the car, it's maxed out for the B3 class.
And you're running Nankang AR1s?
CR1s.
CR1s, okay.
Yeah.
I want to do those next on my car.
They're awesome.
Yeah. I really want to run those.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an amazing build. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but the last thing, I want to talk about that stroker motor.
Oh yeah.
I want to go see that. So yeah, I posted this on a Facebook group, the M3 owners, and it got like 8 million comments.
Yeah.
So what is this exactly?
So this is a 4.4 low compression, fully forged stroker motor for the E9X, or what, actually you can put it whatever you want, but it's an S65 V8. We had it spec'd out. We don't do engine work and machining of anything of that sort. It was spec'd out with VF Engineering for the specifications for a supercharged car.
Okay.
It's got a full array of valve train, aero pistons, all the ARP studs. But the cool thing about this motor is, I hope no one gets mad at me for saying it, but the person who built this engine, no one really knows who he is, but he is the guy who builds, or used to build, all the S65s and engines for Turner Motorsport. So all of Turner Motorsport's in-house race cars, those engines are built by the same person.
And you want to sell this motor?
Yeah, we've had it for 2 years. So we used to do a program where we had 4.2s, 4.4s, and 4.6s.
And this is a 4.4.
4.4 was the most efficient size. This is the valve train where all the Ferreira stuff has been done. Obviously the head's been ported and polished as well. As soon as you put the little bits on it, and whoever buys it obviously would make sure that it's good to run. So you literally buy it, drop it in, and
obviously with your company you make roll cages. That's like your main business. Do you have any cages we can look at real quick? I want to see some of the stuff that you built.
Let me see what we've got.
So this is your bread and butter.
Yeah, so like, you know, I feel like we have two businesses, you know, where we get to work on cars and build cars, and then the roll cages became so popular, it's like a self-sustaining business in itself. Again, we make everything in-house. As you can see, we've been going through pipes like crazy. Usually that's filled. One of the things holding us back is getting supply for the kind of metal that we need and the sizing that we need.
So that's how they start, is in those long pipes?
Just long pipes. And
wow.
Then, yeah, it goes through that whole process. That one jig has about 16 cars on that one jig.
Wow.
So that jig is used to do final QC to make sure, because all the bolt holes have to be exactly correct. So we use prismatic powders, and you get 6,500 choices.
So you have a couple options.
Yeah. They're like, can you guys do white? So we have a standard white, but we also have the white that's perfect for Alpine white for the BMW guys. We don't have a CNC machine because our proprietary tubing clamps are machined. So let me see if I can.
Yeah, I want to see an example of something. Feels like I'm in a factory, which I technically am, kind of. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Been a while. Good to see you.
These are the only things that we don't make 100% in-house so far, because we don't have a CNC machine yet. But the big difference and advantage to our design for the cages is that these are all spec'd out for the model that you want. It's hard to explain. So when you buy this clamp, right, you see how this has extra tubing, but we have longer ones, and what that does is, normally you'd have to buy this clamp and then weld it to another tube, right? So you would have this here as a piece, and then weld that piece that you've already welded to the main hoop. So for the various models that we have, we get them exactly the size that it needs to be, so you have a solid rod connected directly to the main hoop instead of an extra weld.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because it makes it stronger?
Definitely, because you're not adding that little space of another weld.
How many cages have you built, you think, since day one?
I tried to look the other day. It's definitely over 2,000, I think.
I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if people want to reach out to you about the engine or about a cage, how can they get a hold of you?
You know, through our website, studioRSR.com, our Instagram @studioRSR.
Cool, well thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks dude.
Of course. So just finished up at studioRSR. I had some seatbelt stuff that we figured out. We got Gabe's car right here. This was over at Buttonwillow over the weekend. Has 4 bucket seats in it. So sick. It's a cool Supra.